Hello, my name is Dan Johnson and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Wild Blue Yonder, the next episode of the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials. And wow, I got back at 2:30 this morning and I watched it straight away, immediately, as soon as I got home. And I really, really enjoyed it. I have to say, I was a little bit disappointed. I think it's because it's been overhyped with the idea that, the redacted across Doctor Who magazine, the redacted across the trailers and stuff like that. What was going on, what were we going to see, and then theories obviously filling these gaps with over-exaggerated ideas of like Gallifrey and multiple doctors, which I think would have worked quite nicely in this episode. For the entity to kind of copy multiple personalities of the Doctor, start acting like the 11th Doctor would have been interesting. But overnight, I thought about the episode as I slept. I quite literally slept on it, and I woke up thinking, do you know what? That episode was probably one of the best episodes we've had of Doctor Who in a very long time, and definitely one of the most unique ones. After Donna throws coffee onto the TARDIS last week, we return to the Doctor and Donna stuck on a spaceship at the edge of the universe. There's an entity following them around, trying to copy them in order to sort of return to the universe itself and wreak havoc. First off, this episode has a lot of atmosphere. I mean, there's plenty of very creepy moments, a lot of sort of echoey hallways, and a mystery going on that they're trying to solve. And I think that works really well to create an interesting and satisfying conclusion. And then, of course, we have like the bending of forms and, the massive hands and stuff like that. And I think that is really well wound into the episode. And, some of the sort of CGI on that is beautiful. I mean, I know the hands themselves were puppets and they look brilliant. Then I'm not sure about some of the other aspects, but we try not to focus on the fact that, how do you make David Tennant sort of winding back on himself and popping his head through his legs natural? That's not going to happen. It's going to look strange. It's going to look weird. In fact, if it looks weird, especially for a younger audience that may not be looking at it as sort of the CGI looks rubbish, they're going to find that really, really creepy. And for the most part, just about everything was creepy. I don't think there was anything that I kind of made me go, oh, that was a bit strange. Or apart from sort of the weird sort of faces that they were doing that were like, Snapchat filters where the eyes get bigger and then, the face sort of like bulges out slightly and stuff like that. I thought that was a bit simplistic because we just have that on Snapchat. But yeah, there's some beautiful aspects to this sort of really creepy sort of mould of characters and people and massive hands and things like that. That sequence with the truck go-kart thing driving along and then the hand grabs it. Excellent. I mean, stuff that we've never seen on Doctor Who before. We have a massive CG environment that they're walking around in. We should be extremely thankful that we have that element. And the money that's gone into making that episode, I'm very proud to say, I'm a Doctor Who fan. This is the kind of stuff that they do. It's weird and it's wacky, but it works and it looks cool. Obviously, as they're playing with double gangers, it's very cool to see Catherine Tate and David Tennant do different versions of their characters, that are a little bit more menacing. I like that idea and I think it works really well. I love that they could then play around with each other and just bounce off each other, and then I suppose bounce off each other but later on when there's 4 of them in a room and they're trying to work out which one's real, and aspects like that I think are really interesting and sort of the glue that holds the episode together for me. I did think the episode took a little bit too long to get started. I think that the Isaac Newton gravity mavity idea sort of fits as like a little joke, but I did think, where does this fit into the actual episode? It feels like a little bit that they stuck on the end, or rather at the front, and then sort of did nothing with it. I felt like with an episode that is making you ask questions and making you think about what we're seeing, it's all about, all of these elements do make sense and they will link up somehow, but you need to pay attention. The fact that the mavity gravity thing didn't come into anything was a bit of a surprise. As much as I sort of liked the little sequence and the gravity of the situation is very Dr. Donna, the actual joke did become quite tiresome to me. I wasn't a big fan of the challenging of the Doctor. I do feel like if you're going I do feel like we put them in this scenario to sort of put them at their wit's end, just so that we get to the finale where everything is desperate, I guess, and the characters have been tested. I did feel like they could have been tested a lot more, because what was Donna really fighting? here. What was the Doctor had, his guilt of Flux being brought up, but we weren't challenging that guilt. I mean, it's obvious, is it not, that the Doctor's upset about that, but we don't make him try and feel bad about it. And then we continue to solve the mystery. Maybe that was just my opinion. Maybe a few more watches may make me feel like the Doctor is tested a lot more, but I feel like there could have been more to push his character to the limit. And the shot when he's bashing on the that side of the ship and breaking down, I think that more of that would have been good. Maybe not good to sort of watch because the Doctor in pain. David Tennant doing that sort of face where he looks like he's going to cry. You can see the sadness. Gets me, but I think that pushing him would have made this episode more interesting and just really cemented it as a really great story. So that was Wild Blue Yonder, an episode part of the 60th anniversary that felt less like a part of the 60th anniversary and more like a mundane episode, but a really, really good one nevertheless. I do think that the more I watch it and the more I take it as it actually is, I think the more I'm going to enjoy it. So that's all for me this week. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you would like to, we're doing a podcast this week. Hopefully, if I can organise Will to talk about Wild Blue Yonder as we did last week with the Star Beast. Of course, I'll be back next week talking about the Giggle, the final part. And oh my god, it looks amazing, doesn't it? We got Bernard Cribbins back, of course, at the end of this episode and setting up into next week. It looks like we're getting a big action adventure story next week, really challenging the Doctor once again. Hopefully challenging him more because they can bring up elements of the past. I expect big things, which may be to its detriment. But it's going to be so exciting to see Regeneration and, of course, Shooty taking over as the Doctor. And so thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe. If you're new, don't forget to check out the podcast if you haven't already. And I shall see you soon.